Can you move to Thailand making 50K a year remote as a digital nomad? Absolutely, yes, you can. You can live a super high quality life for 50K in Thailand, and we're going to get into that right now. If you want the effect of 3 to 4xing whatever your current income is, and you happen to have a remote job, I highly recommend, like, you don't have to move there, but at least stay there for a few weeks and you can see how it feels like. It's absolutely crazy. I've gone to Thailand so many times and I've spent a really considerable amount of time there. So this is going to be kind of more of a fun and entertaining video, and I'm going to go over the following stuff, at least from my own experience. I'm going to talk about and show receipts for the cost of food, the cost of transportation, and then talk about housing and how much it costs for me. And I'm going to show some of the places where I've actually stayed. I'm going to go over a list of things that I think that you should prepare before coming here. I'm going to give you a list of things I think you should buy and like have in your hands before coming. And in the end, I'm going to talk about some stories that I've had, specifically in the red light district of Thailand. And I don't go there to do those degenerate things, but I've spent so much time here. Inevitably, somebody's going to be like, hey, let's go to like Nana, or let's go to Soy Cowboy and like see what's going on. So I've been to those places like a few times, and it's really wild. I'm almost 40 years old, and I see like so many things in those areas that I ain't never seen in the like previous 40 years of my life. So I'm gonna talk about that a bit. And for anyone who's thinking like, yeah, right, Josh, you're like, you know, a degenerate or whatever, I will say like the most degenerate thing I've ever done in Thailand is just stay in my hotel room all day, like eating broccoli and ordering too much stuff to eat from Grab and just like eating all day long. That's like the extent of my degeneracy when it comes to Thailand. But yeah, I just wanted to like get that out of the way. And if you didn't notice, I have a cold. I'm so sorry. My nose like completely stuffed. It might be distracting like as I talk. So I'm so sorry. Just like bear with me, and I hope that I get better soon. And I do want to say before we get started, I teach both an entry-level IT course as well as a kind of mid-level cybersecurity course. Both of these have helped a lot of people get jobs. I think there's like 3,000 people plus in the IT course and about 15 or 1,600 in the cyber course, with like a really large community. Check those out. I have worked in IT, and like most of the time I spent in Thailand, I was working a remote IT job. So yeah, check those out if you're interested in getting a remote job or switching careers. Basically, for the cost of food, obviously it's, you know what I'm going to say, it's like really cheap, but let me like put it into perspective for you. So you can get like, you know, pad thai or pad see ew, like a full entree here for less than the cost of the tax is if you bought it in the United States. So for example, in the US, maybe like pad thai is like $15, right? Or something like this. And you pay tax on it. It's like $1.50 or something. You can get that in Thailand, the whole thing, for $1.39 or like $1.40. And you don't have to pay tip here, but I do anyway. So you can get, it's basically like 10 for the price of one. It's really insane. You can basically feed a family of 10 people, a family of 10, for the same cost of just feeding yourself in the US. Of course, when it comes to things like, you know, Starbucks, it's still cheaper. Starbucks it's basically half off in Thailand. And if you get like, you know, really high-end foods, maybe it's more closer to the price in the US, but it's never quite the same cost as in the US. Especially if you stick to like more local places. Like for example, instead of Starbucks, they have a Rain Tree Cafe here, I think it's called. That's like stupidly cheap. There's always like, I shouldn't say always, but there's usually like a Thai equivalent, and the Thai equivalent is significantly cheaper than like, you know, the Western equivalent or whatever. But when I come here, I usually stick to buying just like Thai food or other like Asian food that uses local ingredients, and it's healthier and it's absolutely cheaper. Like I said, it's cheaper than the tax of that food in the US, if that makes sense. It's insane. Looking at here, this is like my American Express like statement or whatever. Grab is essentially Uber/Uber Eats in Thailand. All of these things, you can tell when the cost is over $4. Usually I ordered food for 2 people, like me and my friend Cassie, probably is what you're looking at here. These like $11, $18, $19 ones, these are like, it's basically Uber Black. We take like Uber Black like to and from the airport. So maybe it's like a 40-50 minute drive or something like this for $20 with like the high end courier or whatever. But you can see like it's like $2.19, $1.42, $2, $4. I'm just like, you know, freely ordering food like whatever I want from like essentially the equivalent of Uber Eats in Thailand. And I can't, it's hard to spend like $10 a day on food, unless I like really go crazy and like start tipping like kind of hard or something. It's really nuts. This is why it's like easy for me to be a degenerate when it comes to food in Thailand, because I can just stay in my hotel and order it and it will come to me for less than $3 and I'll be full. So this, for me, because I'm a bit of a glutton and I eat a lot, this is like one of my favorite things about Thailand. So getting right into the cost of housing, in my brain anyway, there's kind of 3 tiers of housing when it comes to Thailand. The first tier being like kind of normal apartments that, residents can rent. This is probably going to be on average the cheapest. The second tier is kind of Airbnb, where you can get like, a month long place essentially, and you might get a discount on it. And then the third tier is like, if you really want to ball out, it's just basically living in hotels, which is kind of what I've been doing recently. I don't personally have experience with living in like the local apartment as a resident or something, so I'm just going to skip that. I'm going to talk about some Airbnbs I stayed in really quickly, and then talk about some of the hotels that I've stayed in. By the way, I'm going to put links to all of these in the description, so feel free to like click on them and take your time looking through them. But this first one, if you book it for a month, it was about it's like $14 a day or something, or $450 per month. I didn't actually stay in this one. I almost did, but I didn't. But it, as you can see, it's pretty good. It has a basic apartment. There's like a pool and a workout room and stuff. $450 a month, really, really cheap. Pretty decent. The second one, I actually recorded my whole IT course when I was staying in this apartment. This one was about $35 a day, like $33 to $35 a day, or around like $1,000 a month, which is quite expensive for Thailand. But the area was really nice for this one. The lobby was like really nice, and it was just really it was like in a really convenient area. And of course there's like a workout room and pool and stuff in this one. And then the third one I stayed in, this one's like quite expensive for being in Thailand. This one was like $100 a day, or about $2,800 to $3,000 a month. But there was 3 bathrooms and 2 like giant bedrooms with like, kind of a quote unquote luxury setup with like a crazy view, like almost all around the apartment. There's like a really, really nice view. Workout room, quite a large, like there's like a whole floor for like the pool and like the workout room and stuff. It was in a really nice area as well. This one's like a bit extreme, but I was having some people come over and I wanted like a lot of space this time. So about $100 a night for this one. So nowadays when I go to Thailand, I usually live in hotels just because I want to offload like my chores and stuff to the housekeeping. It sounds like kind of shitty, but it frees up a lot of like time and energy when I don't have to worry about like cleaning stuff, like doing my laundry or whatever. So basically, I usually stay in Lancaster in Bangkok. So if I stay in like a single room, like just like with a single king bed or something by myself, it's about like maybe $100 a day or something, which is cheaper than my rent in Seattle. But I'm living in like a hotel, and it's like really, really nice. Or if I have people that I'm staying with, I'll usually rent like the apartment suite. And there's just basically like a giant living room and 2 bathrooms, like a full kitchen, and it's about $200 a day. So this ends up being like, whatever. If I were to stay there a month or something, it will be like $6,000, which is like kind of a lot. But if you do that in the States, you stay in the Lancaster suite in the States, you're gonna pay like $30K a month to do that. Or if I stay in like Lancaster with like a single king or something in the States, that's gonna be like $15,000 a month, where I would just pay like $3,000 a month if I were to stay there in Thailand. And which is like, by the way, that's cheaper than my rent in Seattle when I was working at Microsoft. So it's really crazy, $3,000, quote unquote, a lot. But when you compare that to what you get in the States, it's like an 80% discount. And you don't have to live in a hotel, right? You can live in like that nice $450 apartment, and it's just super comfy, right? It just depends on like what you want. So I recommend I would probably just go to Airbnb and filter for everything under like $500 a month, and just like take your pick from there, and you're likely going to be really satisfied with it. So things I think you should prepare before coming to Thailand. So the first thing, which is for me probably the most important, would be the Grab app. This is essentially Uber and Uber Eats combined. So go ahead and like, download that. I forget if you have an account, but download it and like set it up and set your location to Thailand, and you can or Bangkok, right? And you can kind of start using it and just checking out the food and kind of seeing how it works. It's really nice, really convenient. And I recommend using Grab over taxis because the whole experience is kind of streamlined if you're using the app, and the experience is consistent and you can just do everything through the app and you don't have to really worry about cash for the most part. It's just like super, super convenient. And the second thing being a visa. As an American, you just don't need a visitor visa or anything at all. You can just roll up to Thailand and they'll just like stamp your your passport, and you can stay for 30 days at a time. If you want to stay for longer, you can go ahead and get like I think it's called the tourist visa. You just have to do a bit of extra paperwork online, but it gets approved in like a day or two or something. It's like super fast. You're required to get insurance for that one, I believe, but again, that's like super, super cheap. I've only gotten this once because I don't stay in Thailand that long. I usually go between Japan a lot, so you don't even need to deal with this. But if you're like looking to retire there or something, I think there's a retirement visa. Or if you just want to stay for like a long ass time, you can just buy a visa. I forget what it's called, but you pay like 15 to 17K and you can just stay there for 5 years, right? It's pretty easy dealing with a visa and like entering Thailand and staying, especially as an American. It's like quite easy. Third thing is insurance. You don't really need it unless you're applying for the tourist visa. I've been to the doctor a few times in Thailand and in Japan, and I didn't use insurance for like any of those times. In Thailand, I just got like a checkup with some general blood works done, and I think that was less than $100. And then in Japan, I had like an MRI, right? And that was less than $200. And it'd take like 2 hours. It's very easy. And when you come to Thailand and you have to go to the doctor or something, you're going to notice like the healthcare is like different from the US, right? It's easier. The fourth thing I would recommend preparing is a phone plan. For me personally, I have T-Mobile and I just use like a global like plan or something because I go to like so many different countries. I don't want to worry about like putting a SIM every time. And I want to retain my number. So I just use a like T-Mobile global plan. But if you're like a normal person, you can get like a SIM at the airport for really cheap. I forget how much it is, but it's like a negligible cost. I think it's less than $20. You can probably be squared away for the month. Or it's even cheaper if you go to 7-Eleven in Thailand, but I would recommend getting at the airport so you have like signal like right away, to be honest. The third kind of option, I believe you can use eSIMs like UBG. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's like an eSIM, an app you install on your phone, and then you can kind of use your phone like as it is in Thailand. But yeah. The next thing, I recommend downloading and installing Line on your phone. That's kind of like the chat app that they use here. So if you go to like the doctor or like a resort or something, sometimes they want to use Line to communicate. But if you meet Thai people, pretty much everyone uses Line to chat. So they might, be like, oh, do you want to like trade Line or something? So I made like a couple of friends here and we exchanged our contact with Line. And Japan uses Line too, so like all of my friends using it, so I already had it. But you might want to download it and kind of set up your own account before going to Thailand. And the last thing I would kind of recommend is download like the whole city in Google Map of Bangkok so you can have like an offline version of it, and do the same thing for Google Translate. Just download the whole like Thai, I guess, dictionary or whatever it's called, so you can use both of those things in the offline mode on your phone. I've never had to like do this before, but just kind of as an emergency, right? In case I don't have signal or something and I need to communicate, it's just good to kind of have that peace of mind. So getting right into the things that I think you should actually buy and like have it in your hands before coming to Thailand. By the way, you technically can get most of this stuff in Thailand, but I'm just kind of like a safe Sally, and this is the stuff that I bring with me every time, and I'll put links to all of this stuff in the description. But first thing being is like a 10,000 milliamp hour phone charger, like a portable battery. Don't get more than this because if you carry it on, the airline will throw it away if it's larger than 10,000 milliamp hours, depending on like what the airline is. I had a 40K one and they took it. They just like took it from me. It made me like really salty. So yeah, be careful with that. The second thing, I would definitely bring like these like Thai like converter things. Basically looks like this, and then the other side is like this, Thai thing. And the outlets in Thailand are, I think they're like 240 volt as well. And you can plug some American stuff into them. It's like a weird shape and you can plug it in. But if you don't have like this adapter, it will like slowly like work its way out and like pop out of the wall. And it's like quite annoying. But if you get this, you can like plug your iPhone into this, plug this into the wall, and it won't like pop out. Also, again, be careful of the 240 thing, because I'm stupid. I didn't realize that, and I fried some studio lighting, like 2 light bulbs, like 2 big bulbs. I fried those. I fried a hair trimmer, like something else, before I realized like what's going on. Because so you can't plug everything into the wall. Like some stuff is rated for that and will convert it. Like your iPhone is fine, your laptop is likely fine, but just be careful with those things, right? Third thing I bring, and I would recommend bringing, is electrolyte powder. It's like quite hot in Thailand, and if you walk around, you're just going to be like sweating all the time. Of course, you don't need this. You can just drink water, but in my opinion, electrolyte powder is better. And you can find this in Thailand, but I recommend just like getting your like a bunch of packs of your favorite one, and you can just dump it in your water bottle and like drink it as you're walking around. That's what I do. Next thing is mosquito balm. Of course, you can buy this in Thailand, right? But if you have like a favorite one, like a balm or something, which I have and I like, you can just like get that on Amazon here first before going. There's a decent amount of mosquitoes in Thailand, and dengue fever is endemic. So it's possible to get dengue fever there. I have been bitten by a lot of mosquitoes when I forget to like put my stuff on, but I haven't gotten sick yet. But just, keep that in mind. I recommend like getting something ASAP in Thailand if you don't bring it with you already. Next thing is, it's like quite hot in Thailand, like almost all year round. So just bring summer clothes. I don't wear pants at all in Thailand. And I recommend like getting shorts like this that have like the little pocket thing that will like keep your phone secure and like your wallet or whatever. Because the last thing you want to do is like lose your phone or debit card or something in Thailand. I've lost my debit card twice, which I'm about to talk about. So summer clothes, of course you can buy clothes in Thailand, but just be aware of it. And then as far as cash goes, you don't have to bring cash with you, because there's like a ton of debit cards at the airport and stuff. So, but just be careful when you're using the ATM. A lot of people tend to forget their debit card in the ATM, because the ATM user experience is like different in Thailand. It doesn't like warn you. It will just like keep your debit card, and people forget their debit card all the time. I lost 2 debit cards in Thailand, like 2 separate times. But when you get to the airport, just get cash. Just take out like 3,000 baht if you don't know how much you need. That's about like 100 US or so. You can go like a month depending on what you do without using it, because you can use your credit card so much for Grab and like some restaurants and stuff, and like the places that use cash only, they're usually like really inexpensive. So just get like 3,000 baht or so at the airport, and you should be good, at least for the time being. All the stuff I talked about, if you do all of that, you can just like roll up to Thailand, prepare the stuff, get the stuff, buy your ticket, book your Airbnb. You can just roll up to Thailand and just start living there, to be honest with that, and be pretty comfortable for the most part. I highly recommend, if you can, just to stay there for like a couple of weeks, just to see like how it is. It will, build your character a bit, make you a bit more of an interesting person, and you'll have some stories to talk about with your friends and future friends. It's just like a really good experience. So getting into the story time, finally, there's going to be a few stories here. So the first one's like kind of tame. Me and my friend were walking around this place called Khao Sang Road. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but it's like a kind of long like party strip where like there's a lot of music and like stuff happening. So we're just walking there, and we had like a drink in our hand, and just like Thai guy comes up to my friend and like was like smiling at him and like cheers him, and my friend like just like cheers him or whatever. And then like a few seconds later, that guy just like slowly like rubbed my friend's ass. It was like really off-putting for my friend, or he didn't expect it. And then like a couple minutes later, he like came to me and he's like smiling, and he like cheersed me. And then I was like, because I seen what just happened to my friend, but I don't want to be rude or whatever, so I just like cheersed him as well. And then like a couple seconds later, he just like softly touched my ass as well, and I was like, okay, I don't know what I was expecting, because I just like seen you do that to somebody else. We didn't like say anything to him, but it's just like kind of a weird experience, because I'm not used to being touched by people, like especially like my ass. It's just like really like I didn't get mad or anything, but it's just like an unexpected thing to happen. The second thing, this is kind of tame as well. I was walking to Central World Mall in broad daylight in Bangkok. So I was walking, and this woman like gestured me to her, and I was like, oh, like what is it? Of course I'm gonna come, because I'm just like I don't know any better. And I was like, yeah. And then she just like immediately like put her hands on me, and she's like, oh, do you want to get massaged? We can do everything. I have a room in the back. Like, I was like, do you want to go get like a massage back there? And I mean, that's innocent enough, but I usually spend my time in Japan where, first of all, like people don't talk to me because like Japanese people shy and I look like this, right? And second of all, like people don't just like touch me randomly or like offer to like, do everything. Maybe she's being innocent, but it's just the way she said it was like kind of sus to me. So that surprised me a bit. Again, like not mad, but I just like didn't expect that to happen. The third thing is this was like getting kind of crazy. This was in one of the red light districts in Bangkok, Nana Plaza. Me and my friend were hanging out in there, and I was trying to find him actually because he went there first. I was like, "Where are you, dude?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm inside Obsession." And if you look up Nana Plaza Obsession, you can see that it's like a special establishment with like special staff in there. But I didn't know that at the time. And my friend, he wasn't in there. He was somewhere else, but he just like made a mistake. It was like the next door over. So I just like rolled into Obsession like I was nothing, like just trying to find him. And like immediately, like when I walked in there, like some staff like approached me and just like grabbed my junk and like start squeezing it and just chatting me up like it was like no, like it was like just another Tuesday or something. And too many things happened at once that have never happened to me before, and I screamed on accident and tried to like back up and be like, no, I'm just like looking for my friend, but they follow me at like the same pace, like grabbing me still, and that was like a bit traumatizing at the time for me. Now it's like kind of funny, but in the States that's like is actual in the States, right? I'll have to like blur that out so like the algorithm doesn't like cancel me or something. But that was a crazy experience for me. Not mad about it, but of course I'm walking around and there's something weird like this is gonna happen, right? So it's like I don't have like right to really, I don't know if I should say that, but that was a crazy experience. And then finally, like the fourth story, we went to another kind of, I guess, red light district. It was a bar called Crazy House in Soy Cowboy. Actually, I made big friends with one of the workers in there. But basically, like I went in there with some of my friends, and the way it works is you're supposed to like go in and sit down, and you have to buy a drink to be in there. But if you want to like if you're into that, you can be like, oh, like I like this human, like come sit with me, and then you choose like a girl or something, and you have to buy her a drink, and you can drink and like talk or do whatever you want in there. But I'm not about to do this, so I like went with my friends, and my friends are like kind of chatting with some girl over here, and I'm just like trying to survive the night right by myself. And one of the girl noticed that I'm with these guys, and the guys have like girls with them, and I don't have somebody with me. So she asked me like, well, they can't speak English, so she was like doing like these kind of things, and me is like, can you buy me a drink? And I have like really hard time saying no to people, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll buy you a drink. I didn't say it like that because we can't communicate like normally like this, but I was like, yeah, I'll buy you one. So the girl like came and sat next to me, and we're just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, so I'm just like communicating with her like with Google Translate, asking her about like her job and like the different like uniform people are wearing, like what the heck is going on. And she kind of explained everything to me in Google Chat. And I think they really like me a lot as a customer because like I don't touch them or anything, and I don't say no to like getting them stuff. So that girl sitting next to me like start asking like her friend to come, or asking me if I'll buy a drink for her friend, which is like a really common thing to happen, right? But I don't know any better at the time, so I was like, yeah, I'll buy her a drink, sure. And then that girl like asks, can you buy my friend a drink? And I was like okay, sure. And then soon there was like 6 or 7 like a girl around me, and I feel like, what the heck is going on? It starts getting like a really stressful situation for me because I don't know how much money I have, to be honest, because I don't carry around that much like Thai money. And I don't know, like I don't want to have like 20 girl around me and I can't pay my bill or whatever. So eventually I just had to like tell them like no, and it's like stressful for me because if there's like 7 girl around me like drinking something, they're just gonna think that I am like made of money or something, and like girl number 8 comes around, and I have to like tell her no because like I don't know how much, like I don't know if I can pay my bill at this point, with the cash I have on me. So I feel really bad. So I gave, and they start like asking me for tips too. So I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay. So I kind of like do my best to like tip them or whatever, because it's not that much money in, US dollars or whatever. But I don't have those on me. So I kind of like finished paying my bill, and like I tipped like two, like, I just ran out of money, like cash, and I was like clear. But finally like the manager comes by, like the I don't know how to call it in Thai. In Japanese it's like the mama, like the the manager lady, and she want me to like tip her too, and like naturally like I should, but I don't have any money left. So I tried to be like, oh, I can't tip you, and then she seems like really upset about it because I tipped all of her like all of her like girls or whatever, and I didn't have any money to give her, and it's traumatizing for me because like I want to like give them money because they asked, and I have like a kind of weak personality in that way, so that was like really stressful for me. So I don't really recommend like going to those places at all unless you want to like just experience what it's like. Well, I take that back. I might recommend going just for like the crazy experience, because like a lot of like crazy stuff happens in there that I'm not going to talk about on this channel, but I might recommend it if you just are into like seeing like crazy like stuff. But I don't really recommend going, and if you go, like don't give away all your money, and don't be like a sucker, or whatever. It's okay to say no, but that was interesting for me, just because like I never been in a place like that, and I ended up like being friends with like the very first girl who like came down and like sat next to me. I still like chat with her online sometimes. She's always like, come to my work tonight when I come to Thailand, but I don't go there because it's just like traumatizing, and it makes me exhausted, and it's like noisy, and it's like I can't deal with those like kind of place anyway. So yeah, I have more stories. I might somehow say them like on a different platform or something like this, I don't know. But yeah, that's my time in Thailand. Those are my crazy stories. And I know I made Thailand sound like a really nice place. Obviously there's downsides to it as well. Like any kind of large city, there's always going to be like a slum area that's like kind of really dirty or something. Even in Seattle there's like a slum, and I don't go to the slum in Seattle, just like I don't go to the slum area in Thailand on purpose, because like I don't know, this sounds bad, but I don't want to like see it and like be exposed to it, because it like kind of make me depressed. Of course there's bad places everywhere, just there's like a lot of good places too, like good enough for me to like go there like multiple times to just like enjoy the country. And I didn't touch on the nature part of things. There's like a lot of really cool like nature and like cool stuff to see there as well. I usually just kind of use Thailand as like a focus place where I just want to eat a lot of nice food and like work on a project. In those cases, I just like go to Thailand for that. But check out Thailand. Highly recommend it. And if you're interested in getting into IT or cybersecurity, getting a nice remote job, definitely check out my courses. If you're new, definitely check out the IT course. Relatively easy to get a job with that if you implement everything properly. A lot of people have gotten jobs already. Shoot for a remote job, not only so you can go to Thailand, but you have like a lot more autonomy in your life, and it can be, for me, is pretty liberating. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.